Our next guest is a supporter of Mitt Romney for the Republican nomination for president. He is a former New Hampshire governor in a very important state, former White House chief of staff under George Herbert Walker Bush, and joins us now to talk a little bit about this Republican Party nomination as we're live from South Carolina, counting down to the very same thing today. John Sununu back with us on the program. Governor, how are you?
I'm fine, Scott. Let me just add to your last statistic. It's what I call the Boston Celtic rule. No matter how long the game is supposed to be, in basketball and in life, on almost everything, it all happens in the last 2 minutes.
Exactly right. You know, I've always said a great basketball game should be 80-80 with 2 minutes left and then go. I'd pay to see that, you know?
But the same thing applies to unemployment length.
Exactly right. I want every game to start with.
People look for a job in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, can you believe the President of the United States is actually saying that a government program, in this case, unemployment insurance, is more of a job creator than this pipeline project? It's
God, I can believe anything this president says.
That's what I said earlier. It's actually not surprising. That's the sad part, but it is a good wake-up call. Yeah,
that's the sad part. Look, thank you for letting me get on the show today. Obviously, we've got a hot and heavy political campaign in front of us, and I just thought I'd call in and chat a little bit about whatever flavor of it you'd like to talk about.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about what many are suggesting is a open food fight now between the Romney camp and the Gingrich fight. Many people say it's not surprising. Newt Gingrich is surging in the polls, so the Romney camp has to punch back. Is that what's going on?
Well, it's the last 2 minutes. But using our theory, we've got the caucuses coming up on the 3rd of January in Iowa, and the New Hampshire primary on the 10th of January up here in New Hampshire. And so the last 4 or 5 weeks is equivalent to the last 2 minutes in a basketball game. And that's what people have to do. They've got to make real hard decisions. And I think one of the most important components, I worked in a White House for well over 3 years. I watched a president I really admired, the first George Bush, deal with tough issues, war and peace, as well as domestic issues. And you need a president that has constancy, has discipline, rationality, is able to make sure that he makes the right decision. And with all due respect to Mr. Gingrich, I think he's now demonstrating again that the most important thing to Mr. Gingrich is Mr. Gingrich, and that is not the kind of criteria you need in the President of the United States. What he did to Paul Ryan, for example, after Paul Ryan and the conservative Republicans in the House put a budget package together and addressed the needs of entitlement reform and really showed great leadership as conservatives on how to begin to deal with the tough problems we have. Gingrich putting together a cutesy statement designed to make him a little bit more clever than anybody else, threw Ryan under the bus by saying that it was nothing more than conservative social engineering. Well, that's a disgrace. But it's a pure measure of what this man is like. He did the same thing to George Bush in the budget agreement. Everybody agreed to it, including Mr. Gingrich, who was part of the negotiating team. Gingrich said he supported it, and 12 hours later he went out and turned his back on it and messed up a process that was designed to deal with some very tough issues at the time. Alan Simpson, former senator of Wyoming today, in an article in the Boston Globe, said it better than I can. He used the phrase that Gingrich, quote, lied to the President of the United States, unquote, in the budget negotiations. So when you have somebody that is willing to do things that drastic and that dramatic for their own benefit at the loss of important policy issues, significant policy issues like the Ryan package, people have to take that into account. And
of course, on the situation with Paul Ryan, he did later, clarify and back away from those comments and his criticism. But what do you?
But wait a minute, Scott. Then he went back to them. He did what I call a full John Kerry. He was for it before he was against it, before he was for it, before.
What do you make of it, though, Governor? What do you think this is political? Is it that he's not conservative enough? Is it why is he doing what you're criticizing?
It's a congenital problem. he has a personal priority above all else. The country comes maybe second or third. Philosophy comes maybe fifth. This is a man who is unable to prioritize needs in a constructive way, and frankly, his colleagues saw that when he was leader. The members of the leadership abandoned him and made sure that he was thrown out.
Tom Coburn was quite critical of him last weekend, saying, brilliant guy, a lot of great ideas, not a leader, not sure I could support him as president. Did that surprise you?
No, not at all. Tom Coburn, Susan Molinari, Mickey Edwards, all these folks that were part of his inner circle who watched him on a daily basis said enough is enough. This man is not stable.
Not stable. Do you believe that he's not stable?
I believe that he cannot resist spouting off, making rash decisions that he cannot believe reacting quickly and emotionally rather than analytically. He is the artist of the bumper sticker statement that sounds good in a debate. But there is no depth, there is no deep analysis, there is great rhetoric, but no execution.
What do you make of the fact that he is surging in the polls, in many cases leading significantly your candidate, Mitt Romney? Why?
He's a wonderful showman. He does a great job of throwing out those bumper sticker statements in the debate. And I give him credit for that. You know, he's got a great mouth, his mind isn't so hot, and his discipline and commitment are terrible.
Now, some say this looks like desperation on the part of the Romney campaign because the Governor Romney's not been able to close this deal, or doesn't have the conservative credentials to motivate the base. What's going on with the Romney?
What are campaigns all about? They're about contrasting your candidate with the other candidate. You talk about what you've done and what you haven't done, what you intend to do and how you intend to do it. You compare it to what the others have done or not done, and what they intend to do or not do. And
10 seconds left. Why can't Governor Romney seal the deal quickly?
Because that's what a primary process is for. We haven't had the first real caucus yet. We've got a month to it. The deal will be sealed in the process of people going to the polls.
There you go. It's 80-80 with 2 minutes to go. And great analogy from our friend John Sununu. We'll have you back, sir. Great to talk to you again. Appreciate it.